fella, he does real math. Gives you guides, puts you on the path. With today's lesson, he is in his zone. So come on now, let's get going.
Howdy, Math Fella here with a tutorial on quadratic factoring. I hope you remember the process. I've given you a phrase, Math Fella says go fish, to help you remember to multiply, factor, substitute, group, and then factor. So let's see how this applies to a true quadratic. We've got one to work with here. This is our A term. This is our C term. Sometimes you may hear this called the A and C method. So I multiply that 3 times 12 to give me a 36. And that 36, I want to find the factors of that 36. They both be positive or both negative. That I add to equal the number in front of the x, or the 13 here. So if I look at my factors, looks like it's going to be 4 and 9. So I'm going to go back and substitute. My third step is substitute that 9x plus 4x in place of the 13x. So I've multiplied, I've factored, I've substituted. Next, I'm going to go do a grouping. Put these first two terms together and put these last two terms together. My next step is to factor those two particular groups. So look at these two terms and find something common, which is going to be 3x, and that's going to leave an x plus 3. These next two terms, I'm going to find something common, which is a 4, and that leaves an x plus 3. So I find I have a common binomial between the two of those. Again, the order of this, whether this 9x is here or over here, will yield the same final results. So we're not going to mix up the order on those. The last step is then to group my two x plus 3's together. So I factor out x plus 3 from this, and that leaves a 3x plus 4. So that is my factored equation. Nice thing about quadratics, I can go back and check that by multiplying this x by the 3x, x by the 4, give me those two terms. Then 3 times the 3x and 3 times the 4 to give me these two terms. Combine those two middle terms. On the next slide, we see that it yields exactly what we started with. So there's your process. Math Fella says go fish. Remember each of those steps. To walk through those, you can just either use the phrase or use those particular terms. I'd like you to go back and work a equation I'm going to give you on this next slide using that process. So let's go factor this equation using the process we just walked through here. You can flip back through the slides if you need to. And then when you've completed that, roll on to the next slide to check against the key. Okay, let's go see how you did. So look at this particular equation, and we found that 24 and 7 were our factors of 8 times 21. They got me a 31. I then grouped this first term, grouped the second term, pulled an 8x out of these two terms, pulled a 7 out of those two. That left your x plus 3. So then these are your two factors. Hopefully that went well for you. And remember, Math Fella does real math.